Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back and welcome to what ought to be the most chaotic race we see this season. It's the second to last race, and tonight 29 cars, 29 street stocks will take on the Charlotte Legends Oval. And thankfully tonight we have some help in the booth. Robert Colgan is with us again. How's it going, Robert?
All pretty good. Just figured come here and watch some Tuesday night short track racing in Charlotte.
I know you've ran this race before. What's it like out there on track?
You question your religion and everything when you're out there racing, and then it's even worse whenever you're under yellow because you're waiting to get either ass packed or ass pack someone because someone's backing off. It tests your patience.
Well, it is going to be an interesting night. I know last year's race was there was some moments, we'll put it that way. And with a slightly smaller field here tonight, just 29 cars, it might be a little bit better, but man, attrition's going to be a big story here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we just found out here just a couple minutes ago too. They got Will Petey back, so I hope somebody took some ibuprofen before the race because they're going to need it.
I did, for what it's worth. All right, let's get started talking to some drivers. And up first, the driver with quite possibly the biggest fan club out there, Ryan Seams. Ryan, it's Doug and Robert in the booth. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How you guys?
Hey, we're good. I have to say, man, you do probably have the biggest fan club out here every week for the second half of the season, and all of a sudden you've been getting a lot faster the second half of the season. Is there a correlation there?
You know what? I think there is. I've been, inviting people to watch the race and support, the league and stuff, and apparently they've taken a liking to me.
It's definitely paying off, man. You've been having some great finishes, but coming into this one, it's like driving in a fishbowl here. How are you feeling about your chances tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good that I'm gonna stay out of all the crap and not destroy a bunch of people while I'm trying to stay out of that crap.
It is going to be a really exciting one. Hopefully we see you survive until the finish of this one, but good luck tonight. Anything you want to anybody you want to shout out or say hello in your fan club?
I'd like to say hello to my buddy Anthony, my buddy Matt that been watching quite often, and everybody else. I love you guys that watch. Keep cheering for me. I'm gonna do good one of these days.
Man, you've been doing great. Keep up the good work. Good luck tonight, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, and it looks like next up is Joe Campbell. He was back last week. Let's see how he's doing. Hey, Joe, it's Doug and Robert. How you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. And yourself?
I'm doing really good, man. How are you feeling, first off, and how are you feeling about tonight's race?
Oh, well, I don't know about tonight's race. I'm starting with a strike. I got some enemies on track tonight that, obviously need to be taught some respect. So you may not see me finish this race. Kendrick Cryer probably should just stay away from me tonight. Austin Edwards should have, but, I think he got a little scared and isn't racing now because of it, so.
Well, man, you have had an awesome season, but I have to talk about going into next week. And it's worth mentioning that the video of your win is the video I usually use when I explain what I do every evening, because it was such an awesome finish to start the season. Are you going to be able to bookmark it next week?
Well, I was just talking to the guys about that in the hauler, and as long as everything stays okay tonight and I don't, find myself when any penalties that keep me from next week, I'm trying to go out winning, opening the season with a win and ending the season with a win. So we're going to give it our best shot. That's Charlotte's that's my baby. I love Charlotte, so.
Well, good luck tonight, buddy. It's great to see you back out there and feeling well.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it very much.
All right, Robert, we have to talk about the next two drivers real quick. We've got Noah Carpenter and Luke Turpin, and they're there's been a little war brewing there.
Yeah, I had to leave earlier, and I seen right before I had to leave early last week. They got together there, and I guess things transpired.
I guess they did. I'm going to pull Noah down and let you start talking to him. Hey, Noah, it's Doug and Robert. You got us, buddy?
Yep.
Hey, no, it's Robert. I guess there was some feelings hurt last week between you and Turpin. How do you go in tonight approaching all that?
Well, starting with the strike this week, can't really get myself into trouble, so I just gotta put it in the back of my head, just go forward, got a really fast car, hopefully can stay out of trouble.
So you're all over everything, or I mean, or is everything's cool, or you want to get even?
It's not everything's cool, but I'm not gonna go out there and wreck anybody on purpose. That's just not really a good idea, I feel like.
How do you feel about tonight with your setup?
Feel really good. We are really strong in heat races, all of us J&S guys. Hoping we can just, once again, stay out of trouble. I feel like that's going to be the main thing in this race.
Well, do you have anyone you got to shout out to or say hello to? Any sponsors or anyone?
Gotta thank Zach once again for giving me this lights out setup. Everyone at J&S for the opportunity. Joe and Danielle. Thank you to everyone else on the team.
By the way, did they make you do the dishes last week by hand?
No, they did not.
Oh, I was just wondering.
Hopefully you won't have to after tonight. Good luck, Noah.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if we can talk to the other half of that one. And hey, Luke, it's Doug and Robert. You got me, buddy? Hey, Luke, it's Doug and Robert up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Well, there was a kerfuffle last week, to put it mildly, between you and Noah. And Noah's saying he's starting tonight with a strike. He's going to have to be a little extra careful. How are you feeling about tonight? And are you going to be taking it easy, or are you going to be getting even?
Oh, I'm just gonna take it easy, man. I'm running my own race. I mean, I got no interest in running anyone else's race, either helping them or harming them. I'm just gonna do my own thing and drive hard the whole time. Don't have the greatest car once again, but we're gonna try to, pick it up, put it on our shoulders, and pull out a good finish from this.
Good luck tonight, man. I know all season you've been pushing a lot harder than we saw last season. There's been less fuel conservation, but a race like tonight, are you saving? Are you taking it any easier, or is your strategy changing up for this one?
I think you just got to stay out of trouble, Doug. I mean, there's going to be a lot of mayhem, and don't want to get caught up in it. Just let everybody else, let attrition knock them down, and then just be there at the end. That's what we try to do every week. And like I said, we don't always have the fastest car. I don't think we've had a fast car at all this year. But we're going to pick it up, put it on our shoulder, and see what we can do with it.
Well, good luck tonight, buddy. It's definitely going to be an interesting one. Or anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Definitely Matt Bear, man. He puts in the work to get us in the race every week. Really appreciate him doing that. And Greg for showing up and racing with us. Shout out to the DVR guys. They've been working with us a little bit, trying to help us get out of the dungeon here. And, Aaron for putting this whole deal on. And you guys doing these broadcasts. You guys don't have to do this stuff, and we appreciate it.
Man, good luck tonight. And hopefully Superman gets back to victory lane.
You never know, man.
All right. Now, Robert, I have to ask the most important question of the night really is going to be, who is your pick for tonight? Who do you think is going to survive this and come out on top?
I mean, there's a couple. I haven't been keeping an eye out this week. I've been so busy with things, but just by watching the style of driving with guys, I'd say Billy Snodgrass, maybe Jonathan Bronson, Tanner Kalin, but Superman, you can never throw him out. So Luke's got something. He just ain't talking. He plays that whole, I don't got a good car thing. And next thing you know, halfway through the race, he's a threat to win the race.
That has definitely been the case this season. And, it's interesting. Johnny B also cheering on Snodgrass tonight. So who knows? We could see. What are the odds of us seeing a first-time winner here tonight?
I'm pretty good because I'm just looking through the list here. The guy I'm going to pick tonight is actually Steven Rex. He's shown a lot of these short tracks. He's been quietly very good, and I don't think he's gotten enough credit this year. You always get Superman and Austin Edwards and all those other guys, but Steven Rex is usually left out of the equation, and I don't know why. I've raced with him. He's a good, clean racer and very smooth too.
That has definitely been the case, and looking through the field tonight, it's also a smaller field. I got heard word from quite a few drivers that, or quite a few teams, did not bring their full field of cars here at this track, only having 32 pit boxes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a nice. This looks like a pretty nice field, to be honest with you. I can't really see off the top of my head anyone that is an idiot. I mean, Rocky Boyd's there, but he impressed me last week at Bristol, so I'll give him that. He's been learning some patience, so I think it's going to be a pretty fun race here tonight, though, actually.
All right, well, let's get them lined up and ready to go. And Steven Rex, as you mentioned, Steven Rex starting on the front row. Then with Matt Baer, Luke Turpin and Zach Edwards have the second row. Alex Craps or Billy Snodgrass on the third. Sean Patrick, Joe Campbell, fourth row. And Travis Sukup, Sean Andrews rounding out the top 10. Ryan Seams is starting in 11th with Blake Wynn in 12th. 13th will be PDJ Zeller, Jeff Edgar in 14th. Tanner Kalin 15th. Mason Foster starting 16th. John Friley in 17th and Greg Holes in 18th. Jose Godino is back tonight in 19th and Albie Hewins in 20th. Jim Johnson starts 21st. Jonathan Bronson 22nd. Gerald Thanos Poole starting in 23rd. Derek Colson in 24th. Rocky Boy, Chris Johnson, Dwayne Robinson, Kendrick Cryer, and Noah Carpenter rounding out the field. Chris Johnson is in the 18 tonight, subbing for Austin Edwards, who locked up the title last week.
Well, now, he might have locked it up last week, but does Chris do anything boneheaded and get a points penalty and maybe makes it not locked in?
That is something that we were discussing in pre-race chat tonight.
I mean, Chris had gotten a penalty earlier this season and was suspended. And, I mean, since he's been fine and everything, but this track, I mean, it can make anybody mad. I mean, it's the most patient drivers out here, and then you got somebody just beating on you. I know last year Jailbert was beating on my back bumper, and it was just, it threw me off, and very rarely do I get thrown off. I mean, and it threw me off.
Well, we're about to find out as they come out of turn 4, and Aaron drops the green flag. They are underway, and it is a quarter-mile track. It is the shortest available track. And putting 29 cars on it, it gets crowded really quickly here.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incident can happen at the front of the field, and the back of the field gets wrecked because of it. There's like no time to respond to anything.
I have to ask, I think I know, but there's a United by United in chat. Who is that? It seems like I know who that is, but wanted to double check. Everybody out here cheering. Ryan Seams fan club is in full effect, and Steven Rex is holding the lead, but Matt Baer, and you talk about tempers flaring, Matt Baer could be one of those guys that he gets in trouble early on. He could be one of those guys that has his temper flare.
Yeah, Matt, he's a good little race car driver, but he's one that you can rattle his cage pretty easily, and I mean, sometimes that's a good thing, but a track like this, a more patient guy is key to being a little more successful, I think.
I have to agree. Two guys not being very patient at the moment. Jonathan Bronson now up into 16th, up 6 spots. Chris Johnson, we mentioned him a few moments ago, up 7 spots in the 18. Looking back, Kendrick Cryer up 7 spots into 21st. A lot of guys starting to make some positions up early, but the top 8 have not changed at all. I think the patience is playing out right now.
Yeah, right now it's getting a little spread out here. I think, we'll get a nice little green flag run here, and we're gonna see how the cars, transition from day to night too here tonight.
Oh, Ryan's brother Steven in here cheering him on as well. A lot of fans out there tonight for what promises to be an interesting one. And you mentioned they're getting spread out, but that also means Steven Rex is almost already into lap traffic.
Yeah, that's going to be a... some of these guys ain't going to want to go a lap down. I mean, they can make it miserable for Steven Rex.
That is definitely true. Another big note, and you and I talked about it earlier, is the fact that they do have Whale PD. Their Whale PD channel is back for tonight. Be interesting to see how many of those drivers get muted before the night is out. But they
got
do.
one spinning. Mason Foster spinning off the 2.
No caution yet. Let's see what happened with Mason. The Tri-E Inc. replay sends it down into turn 1. The 67 right on his back bumper, and it looks, Mason just gets on the throttle a little too hard and sends it around. It looks like Thanos had an incident just a little before that as well. The J&S cars, a couple of J&S cars having problems early.
Yeah, you get up there on that pit lane too, that concrete. Car gets a little happy in the back end at times. I noticed in the evening it wasn't too bad, but during the day I just see it. It's just no grip.
Well, it's definitely going to be interesting. It seems like we had a lot more last year of early spins just generally coming off turn 2 because you're going down onto that flat concrete, but not seeing nearly as many at this point, but you never know as this race goes on.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some patience here, and then something's going to happen, and then it's just going to turn into a snowball here, I think. With Joe and Noah, I don't know who all starting with the strike, but Joe and Noah and whoever else, those guys are going to just be careful, I think, until they get set off.
Speaking of Noah, he's up 8 spots into 21st, looking to see where Joe is. Joe's holding on to 8th place right now. Pretty good gap between them, but again, a lot of lap traffic, and the lap cars will get in the way a little bit, slow guys down, and even if they don't, you could end up being in a situation where you're lapping your main rival.
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be the big thing is, when you come around to lap a guy, is it a guy that you ticked off that's going to give you a hard time, or, he could just dump you, and it's easy here to dump somebody and not make it look on purpose.
That is the key, is not making it look intentional. And already seeing, just notice some of these back bumpers, especially just outside the top 5, already starting to show there's been a little bit of bumping going on.
Yeah, I like these kind of racetracks. It's just good hard racing, bumping and banging. Last season, I can't remember who the guy was, but we had a guy in here, and I would hear him not lift getting in the corner, and there's just some dirty short track racing. But tonight here, we're seeing some good, clean, just bumping and banging.
Well, Sean Andrews opened the door that Ryan Seams just came through. They both move up to 8th and 9th. Joe now up into 7th. Blake Wynn has just cracked into the top 10, and I'm just looking through here. There's quite a few names missing tonight. Obviously, the number of pit stalls plays a big part in that, but a lot of teams only sending out 1 or 2 cars this week. That could save some owners some incident point money.
Yeah, and then next week we get to start, 45 cars, I think, or so, on the Big Oval. So, yeah, I think some guys are just trying to save their stuff for the big week next week. That's literally anybody's race.
It definitely is. You can't talk about that without thinking about how Joe pulled off an epic win to start the season. Could he bookend it here next week? But Austin, that is his last chance to break his own win record, so you never know what's going to happen. Steven Rex, meanwhile, going around to lap more drivers. He just comes back past Albie Hewins now, putting only 24 cars left on the lead lap.
Yeah, he's got some pressure behind him there with Bear and Turpin, Zach Edwards, Alex Crapser too, and there's Billy Snodgrass in 6, a little further behind them guys.
I am noticing quite a few J&S cars up here in the top 10 already tonight. Looks like they might be the team to beat tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, I've said it before, Sean Andrews, he just needs to put a long run together. I think by racing with him, this is the kind of track I think that he excels at. It's looking pretty good in 8th there. And Joe Campbell, I have to say, he's impressed me on the short tracks this year. Last year he struggled, I believe, with the short track stuff, and he's come to life here, especially later in the season.
That has definitely been the case. And as we mentioned, another driver that came to life the second half of the season, Ryan Seams. It's almost like he knows the minute somebody is cheering him on in the chat, because he'll pass somebody when he's getting a bunch of cheers. He did say it's been playing a big part, having all the fans out here. He doesn't want to disappoint anybody, so he's sending it even harder. Another J&S car, Petey now up into 11th.
Yeah, with Ryan, I expect to see some wins next year from him. He's done very, very good this season, just very consistent. When he didn't do good, it's because he got caught up in someone else's, crap. So he's been very solid each week.
That is definitely true. John Friley getting stuck up on the outside, that is a huge problem here. Once you're a lap down, or even if you get past, if a car gets the nose in on the bottom and you go to the outside, you're losing more than one position here.
Yeah, and John's the kind of guy, I mean, he's going to be stuck up on that outside a lot tonight, I think, because he's just not, he doesn't have that aggressive mentality that you need to have where he'll just come down and get back down underneath or do a crossover move, and that's going to affect him and other guys that are like that here tonight.
Looks like Dwayne Robinson had an off track a moment ago. Let's see what happened with the Tri-E Inc. replay. And, oh, man, there was a huge checkup, and he caught the worst of it. All 3 drivers checked up, but Mason Foster had the momentum and just sends him around.
Yeah, and I don't know how well they've fixed the damage model, but we could see some cars overheating here tonight.
Oh, I had not even thought about that, but you're absolutely right. And, here's another question for you. How many of these drivers have a setup that's making them shift here tonight?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of guys are probably running, well, some of the guys, not a lot of them. Some are probably running like a 3-gear setup. I know me, personally, whenever I raced here, I just ran a 4-gear setup, and I would tack it out just getting into the corners. I mean, just try to get it in the red line just at the last second. Some of these guys run these things tacked out pretty steep, and those are going to be the ones that suffer from the front end damage.
They definitely will. Kendrick Cryer and Noah Carpenter now in 17th and 18th place, up 11 spots each. Jim Johnson, who had his best run of the season last week, up 2 spots into 19th, and Chris Johnson filling in for Austin Edwards, now up into 20th. And you gotta wonder if Austin gave him a good talking to here coming into tonight to make sure he doesn't do anything to jeopardize that championship.
Yeah, I know Austin's had his hands full this year, not just on the racetrack, but with some of the guys on his team, and I kind of feel for him because he's kind of, as an owner, you have to accept someone else's stupidity, and Austin is just a good sport about things, and he's had to apologize for other people's bonehead moves this year. So I'm sure he's talked to them and preached, to be good tonight.
I am sure you're right. The top 10, Ryan Seams now in it in 10th. Blake Wynn now up into 9th. Noticeably absent is Jonathan Schwartz, not out here tonight. And he's a guy I would expect to not be talked about until the second half of the race. And then suddenly he'd be up there in the fight.
Yeah, they got a good sub in there for him tonight, Tanner Kalen. He's pretty good at tracks like this, and I think we'll see a good solid top 10 as long as something bad doesn't happen to him.
Tanner has definitely put together some really good runs here lately, and seems to be making quite a good impression on a lot of the teams out there.
Yeah, he's fast lane's ringer. Whenever someone is, undecided about running a track, or they don't want to, or they can't make it, Tanner's the guy they grab him and put in the car.
Definitely a good option to have out there. He has been fast in every race he's been in. Ryan seems his fan club in full effect, now up into 9th place. A few close calls out here for them, but Blake Wynn and PDJ Zeller battling it out right behind. PD has had a really good season. It's his first full season back in a while, and he's been the first part of the season. He had some struggles, but man, he has really been coming on strong the second half as well.
Yeah, he got a little heat going there in the season, and then he fell off, and he's back into running pretty good. And I see him and Blake are running around each other. And going back to Lucas Oil earlier this year, Petey was not happy at all with Blake, and said it might come back to haunt him. So this is a track. This is a perfect track to retaliate. Do it this week, not next week when we're running on a bigger track.
And as you said earlier, it's easy to make it look accidental. Where we saw that checkup earlier, and it's really easy for, if you see that checkup, just to give it a little, not touch the brakes, maybe give it a little tap on the gas and send it around.
Yeah, I mean, this is a track where you got to think that guy that's behind you, did you do something this year to irritate him? Because this is where drivers have brought their notebook of people that's pissed them off all season. And this is where they get even, where it doesn't hurt the field, but it directly just hurts you. You can get dumped and you can lose a lap or two or end your night.
Definitely. So, good evening to Kenny Storkson, Matthew Butterfield, Anthony, Steven. I'm trying to go back through all the names. Keep the chat coming, everybody. We are loving it as the drivers are cheered on. Steven Rex still out front. And man, this one, I think we saw a lot more cautions that first 100 laps last year. This has been substantially cleaner, and this thing is clicking away quickly.
Yeah, I mean, just looking through the names of the field, like I said, I wasn't able to really pay a whole lot of attention this week, just being busy. But looking through the names, you got some real good names in here of good, clean, but hard racing guys. I think they'll show each other some respect here, because going into one more race this season, you're looking for that extra position or two in points. You could lose it all here by doing something stupid.
That is definitely true. And I have to ask, Brad Eblay just hops in the chat, why isn't he out here tonight? And that may come down to owners just wanting to keep, as Rocky Boyd has had a problem. Let's see what happened here. Into turn 3 on the bottom. Looks like he clipped the grass, but nope. Oh, he started blinking. That could be a big issue here tonight.
Yeah, and it's even worse for the guys that got to watch it, and they're behind, and it's a distraction. You don't know where the car is. And then the worst time possible is when they quit blinking and their car is like in your car or right on your car, and then poof, wreck.
Yeah, that is the absolute worst thing, to have your race ruined by somebody else. Speaking of the J&S team, Noah Carpenter now up in the top 10. He has gotten by Petey and made his way into top 10 after starting in 29th, the last place car, and all the way in the top 10. He could get that win tonight.
Yeah, I like in his interview and everything, I like just how he presents himself and holds his composure, and he doesn't, he's a smart kid. He doesn't go out there just with that tunnel vision, I gotta go back, get back on turf, and he runs his race and just does his thing.
That is definitely true, and if Noah Carpenter wins tonight, I guarantee he's not going to have to do the dishes.
No.
Gotta say, Luke Turpin just hanging out up there. I was surprised to hear him say he was going to get a little aggressive later on. But it is, he's just going to let come what may the first part of this and then kick it up in the second part. But Luke's really been a different driver this season.
Yeah, and I think he's had to be. I mean, last year, he kind of ran away with things, but then with Austin Edwards coming into the series and everything, he made Superman step it up 3 notches. Luke has struggled this year. He's been there, but it's got to be frustrating. It's right there, but you just can't get it.
Looks like both Joe Campbell and Jim Johnson have had an incident, both of them going off track. Let's see, there's Joe heading off into turn 1. Oh, it looks like he just cuts turn 1 a little too much. Let's see if Jim Johnson had the same issue. And that, I know we've seen that in the past. You can get away with that once or twice, but if it's a continuous thing, there's 2 different problems there. Yep, that's the same thing with Jim. You could get loose off the grass and there could be a penalty involved.
Yeah, and this track is it's just momentum, and a lot of it's just with muscle memory and everything. You just keep running that same line. The second you get shifted out of, where you're comfortable, you just make a bunch of mistakes, and it takes a couple of laps to get back into that momentum.
I think this is one of the few configurations on iRacing I've not at least test driven, but I can imagine that the car feels like you're almost never going straight. It's such a short distance that you're going straight that it feels like you're turning all the time.
Oh, it's a terrible track for me to, grab a drink of beer while I'm going down the straightaway. I'm constantly in there wheeling the car, and it's just tough. And you actually end up almost getting dizzy on these long green flag runs.
I can definitely see that being a reality here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our first commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy this side by side as we go to commercial. We'll be back in just a moment.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and e-NASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And as you see, green flag stops are underway. The leaders are on pit road, and we were just talking about it, Robert. It is an interesting pit road, but you said you can make up a lot of time here.
Yeah, I mean, you can make up a lot of time, or you can lose a lot of time, especially, just speeding down there. A lot of guys probably practicing that mark this week of where to hit their brakes, and then cutting that corner too. I mean, you want to get as low as you can. You can pick up quite a few seconds here.
That it definitely is an interesting one too, because you have to go all the way down to what would normally be pit road entry, and then make that hard left back around as Ryan Seams comes back out right in front of the leader. Luke Turpin has the lead for the moment, and this is a very Turpin thing, as we were expecting pit stops to be about 85 to 95 laps. So look, here comes Turpin down pit road. Not seeing a lot of guys stretching the fuel here early.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to. I mean, Turpin's thing probably is though too. It's scary with those cars coming out of pit road. Oh, and someone's into the 88. I don't know if that's James Johnson or what. Right over into turn 3.
Jim Johnson was involved in an incident. It looks like maybe with Jeff Edgar as we go to the replay. Here comes Jim through 1 and 2. They're side by side directly in front of him, and he cuts down as he was headed to pit road as the 88 turned across. They met in the middle, and it definitely did not end well for the 88. We'll have to look and see how bad Jim's car is too.
I think Jim misunderstood there. I think Jeff was just trying to stay high to give people room, and James thought, well, he's going into pits and sent it in there.
Billy Snodgrass is out front leading. That could very well have been the case. He just sends it. I have to ask, I can't see where the cone is for pit road speed.
It's about 3/4 of the way down. I mean, once you get, exit the track, it's still ways down there. I mean, you'll see guys flying, and that's the other thing is some of these guys have geared their car so low, just geared them where they're redlining so early. Well, now you're going to be going even faster down that pit road. You could be redlining quite some time.
Oh, and as we talked about earlier, overheating could be a big, big problem here tonight, especially since you don't ever have a whole lot of speed going, so you're not getting a lot of airflow across the nose.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, especially with the damage model. I mean, James Johnson there, he got some front end damage. That's going to hurt him, I'm sure, with the airflow. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting night here. Snodgrass has everyone 3 laps down right now too, by the way.
Yes, he does. Still has. Oh, holy cow! He gets loose on a turn 2. I think he might have had a little love tap there from the 48, but he is not giving an inch. Billy Snodgrass just hoping if that caution comes out, which we've had a few close calls so far. If a caution comes out, though, man, Billy Snodgrass would be really in the best shape. And I know Billy's got some fans out there tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is in this place too here. I mean, it's like I was saying before, I think it's a great pit road to get on, but to come off, it's terrible. I mean, you want to be right up against that wall when you're coming out, because those guys coming around, they're coming up the racetrack out of the corner, and I think that's where we would see maybe the first caution.
Oh, Noah Carpenter has crashed as well now. And Noah had raced his way up 20 spots into the top 10 before pit stops. He was getting a little bumper beaten from... Oh, he just got yeeted around. That was a hard hit from the 88, I do believe.
I believe that's Jeff Egger tonight in the 88.
Yeah, I believe you're right, and I do believe Noah Carpenter's still running in 7th place after pit stops, but you got to wonder how angry he is right now. That car really took some heavy rear end down. Oh, we've got a car spinning. The 51 of Travis Sukup gets loose through 3 and 4.
Yeah, this is we'll see. I mean, I don't know, maybe if they didn't take the full fuel amount, it just changes the whole weight of the race car.
Not to mention cold tires out here could be a killer for sure. We saw more cars getting loose on the early going before they had heat in the tires, and I'm guessing, and you can speak to this better than I can, but I'm guessing it takes a lot longer around here to warm the tires.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it just all depends too on how you set the car up, and starting out, I always started out with real low air pressure, especially somewhere like here. So my car is going to be loose very early. So if you get used to that, you shouldn't have any issues.
Well, now that Billy Snodgrass finally comes to pit road, he will have the freshest tires, but after he gets around here in a moment, Matt Bear's about to take the lead for the first time tonight, next time by, unless Billy has a really quick stop. And it does look like Matt will take the lead as he comes through, so mark that up as the third leader for the night.
Yeah, I don't know if fresh tires, having that much fresher tires is the best thing, because you just put yourself in a crowd of people. I think track position is going to be the real key here tonight.
You have to wonder, though, he did take the longest run on fuel. That's going to mean he'll have one less stop. Billy Snodgrass is actually going to end up with one less stop tonight than everybody else. As long as, and I dare not, I know it's 1,000,000 to 1, but if this thing stayed green the whole race, you never know what could happen with that pit strategy.
I mean, that is true, but also how much longer did it take him to put the fuel in the car, too? I mean, that's usually how I weigh things out. Is it worth waiting that extra time to put more fuel in the car?
Well, Matt Bear now has the lead. Luke Turpin in second. Stephen Rex in third. Zach Edwards fourth. Alex Crapser in fifth. Noah Carpenter now up into sixth. Mason Foster in seventh. Blake Wynn eighth. Sean Andrews ninth. And Kendrick Cryer up 18 spots into 10th. Looks like Ryan Seams had some problems on pit road. He drops back to 17th. Joe Campbell had some problems as well. He is back to 16th. And unfortunately, it looks like Gerald Thanos Poole is out of the race. He had some real calibration issues. And after that incident, it looks like he is out.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking too. Billy Snodgrass went from being 3 laps ahead of everybody. Now he's 1 lap down in 13th place there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that strategy plays out. It's not one that I'm not feeling good about it.
It's definitely a gutsy one. I had not thought about the extra fuel time. These cars take a lot longer to fill than just about everything else. So I had never actually thought about calculating in that time for the extra fuel, but yeah, that could play a big factor here unless everything just falls perfectly in his favor.
Yeah, I mean, if it stays green, that's great for him. Or if he gets his lap back during green flag pit stops again and stays out there and it goes yellow, that's good too. But it's a little risky. But the way the race is going, I mean, he might be in the good.
It'll be interesting to see how the strategy plays out. Everybody pretty much single file. Most of the cars on the outside are cars losing a lap. A few battles going on track at the moment. Joe Campbell, Ryan Seams battling it out. That's for
Rocky Boyd getting turned by Dwayne Robinson, and Zach Edwards was part of that too.
Let's take a look. There's a car backwards on the back straightaway.
Yeah, and I knew that was coming. Both guys very aggressive. Sometimes they don't race with their head, they race with their feet, beating on each other. And Dwayne Robinson wasn't too happy with Rocky Boyd, I believe. A few laps earlier, he was pinching him.
Well, and it looks like Rocky just got into too deep. Zach is there, and a little help from Dwayne sends all 3 of them around. It looked like Rocky was just full sending it, and Rocky's put on a great show. He can pick up a lot of positions on track, but yeah, Dwayne just barely taps him, and he taps Zach, and both of them go around. No caution.
Yep, and just as you were coming back, I seen Sean Andrews got loose off of 2 and just got a little sideways there, but Yeah, it was Rocky. Rocky was pinching Dwayne there quite a bit, going down the straightaway, putting Dwayne up against the wall, and Dwayne just wasn't having it, and I think that's why Rocky drove it in so deep, trying to get away from him.
It looks like the 94 may have given Sean a little help on that one. Back up front, it is still Matt Baird. Look at this. I'm showing 10 cars left on the lead lap after pit stops, and that really makes me think again about Billy's strategy here, because that few cars on the lead lap, I mean, he's within the 3 cars that would be waved around, but that does become a bit risky unless this plays out into his hand.
Yeah, my big thing is you see some of these guys are getting a little rowdy now because A, they probably messed up on getting into the pits, or B, getting out. And now Billy is surrounding himself. He might put himself in a bad situation with some of those guys.
Definitely could be the case. John Brancaccio told you you're doing a great job there, Robert. Good job, buddy.
Thank you. I like Johnny B. I was happy to see. I think he said he finished 19th last week at Bristol. Awesome job. I was very happy to see Johnny B do very well last week. It's been a long time coming.
Rocky Boy just had another incident. Let's see if it was a blink or an actual event here. Rocky has not had a great start to this one. And it looks like, yeah, he is blinking again on the front straightaway. I am sure that Aaron's watching that closely.
Yeah, it seemed when we were on break that he had given a black flag, and that must be what it was for. This is a very frustrating place with the blinking, and it's just as bad for the guys to have to watch it than the guy that's actually blinking.
It's definitely a bit of a headache there. And Johnny B said he ended up finishing 15th last week, so that was a great run for John Brancaccio.
That's very good. I mean, like I said, I was happy. He ran just a hell of a race. I mean, and that wasn't just on luck. I mean, he did a very good job keeping the car clean and avoiding the carnage, and just he looked like he was carrying some speed there too.
Sean Patrick, after that earlier incident, has fallen all the way back to 24th. Albie Hewins back in 25th. Jeff Edgar's still out there. Only one car, it looks like, out of the race right now, and that's Gerald Thanos Poole. So 29 cars started, 28 still out there. And, you know, you have to wonder, this late in the season, there's still some very close points battles going on, especially down around the money spots. You have to wonder some of these teams that decided not to field as many cars. And is this a throwaway race? Do you plan it as such?
Yeah, I mean, if you got a ringer, you throw him in there for somewhere like this. But the big thing is, like Sean Patrick, he's falling off now. Guys like that right now in this position, when they've just lost all sorts of track position. Now you go from race mode to strategy mode, and you try to strategize your way back around to get some of those laps back by saving fuel, maybe short pitting some. And just hoping for a caution. So you're not out of it yet. You just got to change the way you approached this race before.
Hey, worth noting, Kendrick Cryer now up 20 spots into 8th. Jonathan Bronson up 13 into 9th. Noah Carpenter up 23 into 6th. Interesting note, Kendrick Cryer's mom, Michelle, raced in the Powder Puff race for the Jones BS Racing League last night. Came home with 2nd place. And
must be where he gets all the speed from.
I'm telling you, the joke was that that his mom should show up and race for him tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Kendrick's a pretty good little race car driver. He's gotten under my skin there a time or two, but he's a good little race car driver.
Oh!
And as we say that, him and Bronson get together.
Bronson had got the run down to the bottom, but Kendrick definitely had to speed up off, and yeah, they kind of met in the middle on that one, but Kendrick backs out, lets him get it squared away, and that shows Kendrick is, I mean, he's been a lot more aggressive this season for sure, but he still shows a lot of patience and a lot of wisdom when he's out there on track.
Yeah, he's done well. You know, a lot of these younger guys out here, like him and Jonathan Bronson, it's their off-track attitude and actions that make them look bad. Their driving is actually very good. I mean, Bronson, the way he talks, you swear he's this dirty race car driver. But in all honesty, Bronson is a very clean driver to be around. He's young. He's got that aggressiveness in him. But both Bronson and Cryer, some talented race car drivers.
And I do think I saw, I do believe I saw Rocky Boyd just a second ago blinking again. Yeah, it was him. That could be a problem. He could end up out of this one. That would be, he's not having a great night anyway, but that would not be, that would just not be the situation he wants to be in tonight.
And as a driver, when you see someone that's blinking like that and they're already having a rough night, it makes you more irritated because, like, what's the point of being out here now? Like, your race is practically over, and then you gotta not let that get to you because it can mess you up then too.
And Matt Bear currently has the lead. He's been leading since pit stops were completed, and man, doing a great job out there, but he's about to come into some heavy lap traffic. As a leader, you can't really back off, and these guys, some of them are going to be battling right in front of him.
Johnson's getting turned by Bronson. He's sending it in on Jose there, going through 1 and 2, and now they're 3 wide here. Johnson he's got to be careful though. Don't want to do anything too stupid and then hurt you. He got Bronson there. That's racing though. That's just short track racing. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Oh!
And Bronson didn't like that though.
No.
This is where we see what does Chris Johnson do. This could hurt Austin Edwards if he decides to just go out there and blatantly get back.
Let's see. Jonathan Bronson currently runs in 9th. Chris Johnson back in 20th. Will Chris take a deep breath on this one? He has to remember, as you said, man, a lot of points for his team owner on the line. As it is time for another break, no cautions yet. I probably shouldn't have said that. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, welcome back, folks. And obviously, we're keeping a close eye on Jonathan Bronson and Chris Johnson. Looking at Jonathan Bronson, as we talked about a moment ago, not a lot of damage to that car despite that pretty hard smack. But then again, not a ton of speed being run down the straightaway here.
Something happened to Joe Campbell on the front stretch. I just seen he was into the right side of James Johnson, and Joe's got some damage now on his left front. It's pretty heavy.
Oh gosh, he does, and I'm a bit surprised because Jim being in, I do believe Jim is in a JNS car tonight.
Yeah, and those two have history. Constantly see them going back and forth with each other. It's not over yet, but Joe is Joe's smarter than sometimes you think. I mean, he yells a lot and whatnot. He wants to race next week. I don't see Joe doing anything stupid and just taking someone out for no reason.
I stand corrected. Jim's in an EHP car tonight. So, is there 3 wide out of the turn? The 51 kind of got stuck in the middle, and the second round of green flag stops is underway again. And Chris Johnson has crashed as well. Let's see what happened with Chris and see if Bronson was involved. Doesn't look like it as he comes out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Looks like he was setting the... I'm not sure what's going on with Chris, but he stops as he comes down pit road. Interesting.
He might just be parking it. I mean, maybe he just had enough, and he... I mean, that'd be a good call right now. I think he might be getting a little hot, with Bronson, and maybe he's going to park it tonight.
Did hear word in the chat that Joe said he was going to do some dumb stuff tonight. I find that a bit surprising in pre-race. He did say he was going to take it easy because he really wants to race and book in the season next week. So it'll be interesting to see if Joe gives Jim Johnson any retaliation. Now, Matt Bear has led since the last pit stop. Here he comes back into pit road. Luke Turpin will reassume the lead here.
Yeah, Stephen Rex was leading the last round of pit stops whenever they came in, and I seen he was 3 seconds behind. I think that's where going down that pit road, losing time. I mean, here Stephen Rex is coming in now, actually. Maybe he just played it a little too safe getting in. That's where he got beat, because they didn't really grow the lead or anything on him through that whole run.
No, they really didn't, and just because everybody is in lap traffic the whole dang race, you never know what could happen. Ryan Seams, Billy Snodgrass, Tanner Kalin, and Jim Johnson have cracked back into the top 10 under these pit stops. Those guys have got to be hoping for a caution here quickly. Like I told you during the break, big surprise that we have gone 165 laps without a caution.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking good right now, and with Snodgrass, if I was him, I would short pit here then the next round, in all honesty. I mean, the big thing is he might only go 1 lap down again, but those leaders were catching other cars, putting them a lap down. It could put him out of the 3-car waiver round.
And we go to the Telesign blimp to get an overhead shot of the event. Luke Turpin leading as he comes out, and cars coming off pit road. And you mentioned it earlier, the getting into pit road, not usually a big problem, but getting off of pit road here, that can get a bit sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, and it wouldn't be so bad, but guys just got to realize, got to get up by the wall when I'm exiting. It's safer for everybody. And they'd be all right. But you get somebody maybe daydreaming, not used to this kind of pit road, and they come out center or, lower, and it causes problems.
Got asked which team Jonathan Bronson was with, and I am drawing... Hang on, I'll have to go look it up.
It's Higgins with...
Oh.
Yep, Higgins owns a 67 car.
Don't forget to go and check out your Higgins the XCAL Superfan spotter pack as well, that you can find at the XCAL web shop, along with a lot of new goodies. And found out in pre-race that Aaron's got a bunch of new stuff coming in the very near future. Some new designs for shirts and hats and everything else you could ever want and more with a cool XCAL design on it. So make sure you check out the XCAL web shop this week at XCALRacing.com. Also check out Sim Racer Hub for all of your XCAL stats and every iRacing stat you could ever want and more. I have it pulled up to be able to look at stats all race long, every single race. It is so helpful. And if you want to become an XCAL superfan, go to the XCAL website, go scroll to the bottom, look and join as an XCAL Patreon, get exclusive access, and during the off season, that exclusive access is really something cool. You're definitely going to want to check that out. Go to XCALRacing.com, look for the Patreon, and sign up.
Yeah, I've seen Aaron, they got a Christmas stocking, I believe, coming out just in time here for Christmas. Looks pretty neat with the Whale PD on it. That'd be something neat to have hanging by the Christmas or by the chimney.
It would definitely be the most unique stocking you could ever have.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you get to spend Christmas with Whale PD. So hey, I mean, what more could you want in life?
Exactly. I mean, you know, it's always the right time for XCAL.
That is definitely the case. The driver's still going around here. The second round of green flag stops is coming actually to a close. Turpin's on pit road. Jim Johnson and Albie Hewins are on pit road. The last one to pit is going to be Noah Carpenter, who has reassumed the lead here. But man, Noah's had a rough night tonight, as you can tell by the right side of that car.
Yeah, but he's held it together. He's still been running solid, still been picking up spots. He's not letting it get to him. It's just this whole staying out longer thing, I don't know about it. I mean, I've been watching with Billy Snodgrass. The problem with him staying out so long is he's not been aggressive. He's letting cars just go ahead and go around him. So he's defeating the purpose of actually staying out longer because he's losing so much more time on the track.
And here comes Noah Carpenter. Billy Snodgrass could cycle back into the lead now. But he has still not been to pit road. He's still got another 20 laps. If he's going to run that strategy and keep it going, he's still going to have another 20 laps to go before he hits pit road.
Yeah, and I don't see this benefiting him. He's out there with a lot faster cars now. He's just giving a lot more room. I think he's going to fall harder here after his next pit stop, unless we get a yellow to go his way.
Now, if a yellow goes his way right now, as Noah Carpenter on pit road, man, he would put himself in a really, really awesome spot because he'd end up with cars multiple laps down behind him, and he'd have that free pit stop, and man, you'd only get 3 cars waved back to the lead lap, so he'd be in great position, but he absolutely needs that caution to happen and not involve him.
Yeah, this time versus the last time, he was 3 laps ahead of second place. Now he's only 1 lap ahead of second place before this pit. And, I mean, they very well could get their laps back the hard way here from Snodgrass before he even pits, and that's just going to hurt him even worse.
That is definitely the case. Alex Krapser and Zach Edwards now running 4th and 5th. Stephen Rex still holding on to 6th place. He is having another great run here tonight. Hoping to see next season Stephen Rex get a better start to the season and be up in the money all season long.
Yeah, he's really impressed me since Sobo, the second Sobo race. He was running very well. He was up there battling with the big name guys, and you know, he just held his ground. And since then, I've kind of kept an eye on him, and he's been very impressive.
Well, it is time to get our full field rundown in, brought to you by Alloy if I can speak English, Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist. Go see them for all your wheel needs. They can repair anything and get you anything new. Go check out Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist. Billy Snodgrass up in the lead right now with Matt Baird now in 2nd place. Matt is starting to gain ground on him. Luke Turpin currently runs in third. Superman having a great night again tonight. Alex Crapser up into fourth now with his teammate Zach Edwards right behind him in fifth. Jonathan Bronson having an excellent night, up 16 spots into sixth place. Keeping a close eye on him and Chris Johnson's location just in case. Stephen Rex currently runs in seventh. Again, another great run for him. Kendrick Cryer up 20 spots into 8th place. Having an excellent run here tonight. Blake Wynn currently runs in 9th and Sean Andrews in 10th. Mason Foster sits in 11th place and Whale PD himself up in 12th. Tanner Kalin, the ringer, up into 13th right now with Greg Holes not far behind in 14th. Flying Ryan Seams had some problems on the first pit stop, is making his way forward. Joe gets loose right in front of him. Ryan avoids it and holds on to 15th. Jim Johnson did a little beating and banging with Joe earlier, currently running in 16th. Noah Carpenter, after pit stop, sits in 17th, up 12 spots with Chris Johnson still out on track, playing it safe in 18th. Travis Sukup currently running in 19th and Dwayne Robinson in 20th. Derek Colson runs in 21st. Sean Patrick sitting in 22nd. Joe Campbell on pit road now in 23rd with Jose Godino in 24th. Albie Hewins currently in 25th. Jeff Edgar in 26th. Rocky Boyd might be out of the race in 27th. John Friley currently runs in 28th, and Gerald Thanos Poole out of the race in 29th.
Yeah, going through that rundown there, I noticed, do we have any Black Sheep Racing vehicles in here tonight?
No, they actually decided to take the night off to save a little money here. We'll see as time goes on if that's if that was the right move, but the team decided we're taking the night off. Hey, good evening, Russell.
I mean, everybody needs a little break, recuperate their thoughts, and get back settled in, and go out the next week and give them hell. So I know that's part of the reason I kind of just took a break. Racing life gets busy, and just sometimes just need a little break, or you'll go insane.
That is definitely the case. Billy Snodgrass continuing to lead. His lead is diminished now down to 19.8 seconds. As he gets ready, we should see him in right here at the halfway point. Man, I'm surprised that we've gone halfway without a caution here. And that is exactly the thing that Billy's going to need to pull this off, or a perfectly timed caution is about the only way this strategy, I think, is going to work, as much as, like he said, as much as he has faded since that last pit stop.
Yeah, even if this stays green, though, I don't see it working out, because he's losing more and more time each pit here, because, I mean, like I said, the first pit, he was 3 laps ahead. This one, he's 1 lap ahead. And here he's coming into pit right now, right at the halfway point.
Yeah, and here goes Matt Bear is going to come around in about 2 laps and reclaim the lead here. And as we hit the halfway point, wow, I can't believe how fast this race is going. We're going to step away for just a moment. Don't go anywhere. We'll go side by side and be back in just a moment. right, we are back. Lap 211 in the books. Matt Bear is back in the lead. Luke Turpin in second. Alex Crapser in third. Zach Edwards fourth. Jonathan Bronson in fifth. Looking through the field, Ryan Seams has started making his way back up as he goes side by side with Greg Holes. Greg Holes having a great run tonight. He's up to 14th now.
Yeah, he's a good little solid short track guy. He's had some bad luck, and I think he's one of many, like me and other ones, kind of get lost in that shuffle with pit stops. With these green flag pit stops and everything, you see the guys that are on top right now, those are the guys that ace these pit stops week in and week out, and that's where they get the advantage.
Well, Matt Bear and Luke Turpin have both had some actually, Luke Turpin had the fastest pit stop last time by about 5 seconds. I have to wonder if he took a little bit less fuel or maybe only took right side tires, but he was substantially faster than Matt Bear.
Yeah, Luke is still the king with saving fuel. He might have been able to save some, don't have to put as much fuel in the car, and that gave him the advantage. Because you don't want to run these things dry in every pit. You want to pit with a little extra fuel because you get those couple extra seconds whenever they're switching cans, if you're going for that full tank or not. So that might have been what he did.
That's a very good point. It has definitely paid off for him. He's just about 1.9 seconds behind Matt Bear right now. Looking back through the field, Bronson up 17 spots into 5th. Kendrick Cryers up 22 into 6th. Mason Foster, who's just been quietly, we saw him have a problem really early on and has recovered from it extremely well. He's made his way back up into the top 10.
And I'm looking here, 15th place, Billy Snodgrass, 2 laps down. So, like I said, it's all cycling back, and that's with that. I think what's going on is Billy's running that thing empty.
And Billy just got together. And I think Billy's about to get punted. Nope, Billy wisely moved up the track as the 19. Oh, and Kendrick Cryer is right there in the mix as well. 3 cars battling, and Kendrick gives Billy the boot. That's getting a bit aggressive for guys that really not on the same lap. These 3 are not fighting for positions.
Yeah, and see, that's the last thing Snodgrass needs right now, and that's like I was saying, whenever I pit in these races before, I started to learn you at least want to pit with a half a gallon left in the tank. At least a half a gallon, because that there usually, it buys you a couple seconds when they're switching cans. So if you can at least have that half gallon left, you're going to have a little bit faster of a pit stop. And with Snodgrass, I think what he's doing, he's literally trying to make this like just the least amount of pit stops possible, and it's going to come back and bite him because I think he's running this thing almost to empty.
Well, it looks like Mason Foster has come to pit road, so he is the last to pit under this cycle, or possibly he's been stretching it too, and I just didn't notice that he's been stretching it, I think, a little bit further than Billy Snodgrass here, but he is still making up more ground along the way. I think he's playing a strategy game out here a little bit differently, though, because he did not pit as far, didn't go as long on that first run, and after that incident has used this strategy to make up some time.
Yeah, I think with all his troubles he had is, like I said earlier, you gotta, whenever you have an issue like that, you go from race mode now to strategy mode, and I think that's what he's doing. It's a smart decision on his part, though, because, you know, he wasn't going to have a chance if he was just going to keep racing the same way he was. So now, stay out, try to buy yourself some time, stay out, maybe a caution comes out, and you get the luck of the draw.
Hey, good evening to Chooch on Twitch. You guys make sure you're dropping in. Tell us who you're cheering for tonight. Matt Bear continuing to lead Turpin. Oh, we've got a car going wide. Looks like he was just avoiding it. But Alex Crapser is now up into 3rd. Jonathan Bronson in 4th. Zach Edwards in 5th. Looking at Bronson currently sitting in 3rd and trying to find where Chris Johnson is on track just to see if any more sparks are going to fly here.
guy I've been wanting to see have a good, solid run through the whole race, and he's been doing a very good job. So I hope I don't jinx him. Is Sean Andrews. He's on the lead lap in 9th place. I'd like to see him have a hell of a run here tonight because it's well deserved. He's been there. He just couldn't piece together the long runs.
He has definitely been doing a great job. Started in the top 10, has been in the top 10 all night, is all over the back bumper of Blake Wynn here.
Yeah, just you gotta keep doing what you've been doing. Don't make any stupid moves. And I think like I said, I hope it'd be nice to see him finish at least top 10 tonight.
Looks like PDJ Zeller is coming to pit road, and I think we're seeing a little bit of a mix on the pit strategy here, guys, trying to get off cycle to have fewer problems on pit road, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good move, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, this race, one caution could literally ruin your entire night, because when we get a caution, you know dang well we're going to get more after it, because it's going to cluster the field up on restarts. Guys could run into somebody, cause damage under caution. That's going to cause overheating issues. That's going to be the prime place too, where we see the heating issues is when we got to stack them back up, because guys are going to be beating and banging bumpers.
Yeah, that has definitely been the case, and Noah Carpenter has won his. He's had a great fight tonight. He's gotten in a little bit of trouble here and there, as you can tell by the car, but man, that guy continues to make his way up. He definitely does not want to have to do the dishes. Although he was not made to do the dishes after last week's race, we're going to have a talk with the Carpenter household.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a little bit of, letting them by on that one, because, like I said, during that race last week, I can't fault anyone at it. Carpenter did his job holding Turpin down. Turpin, I think, misjudged and was coming up off. Wasn't expecting Carpenter to run him that hard, and they just got collected together. So, like I said, I can't put the blame on either one. It was a racing ordeal, but hate to see it. Turpin don't race that way either. I think he probably felt bad too for getting into Carpenter like that. So yeah, I mean, it's nice to see him have another good run here tonight, bouncing back from earlier incidents.
As Sean Patrick and Derek Colson going at it right now. Colson up 6 spots into 18th. Sean having some problems here tonight, has gone back into 17th now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see with these guys with early pits, if people start changing their strategy, seeing this and panicking, and then we're going to get that whole effect where they're coming out of pit road and guys getting together.
We've definitely seen some close calls as driver. And here comes Matt Baer for his stop. Luke Turpin last pitted on lap 174, but I think we're starting, and Kendrick Pryor also in. So we're about to see our third round of green flag stops here. It's just about the right time, about 80 laps in since the last stop. So, man, the stops are really flying by tonight, as long as they keep this thing green.
Yeah, I think this is going to hurt Snodgrass even more with these guys making, now they're going to be taking a shorter stop, coming out, firing off, and Snodgrass is going to be stuck out there just, pissing in the wind, really.
Yeah, and you have to wonder, he's seeing this, is it too late for him to make a change to his strategy here and maybe pit, about 70 laps, 80 laps into his run to try and make up a little bit of ground that he lost in the early going?
Well, that's where he's going to lose even more time, I think, because now you've gone into, whenever I've done league races with guys, they try to get this whole plan out before the race, and I never listen to it. I tell them I base everything off of how I see with the race, and I have a couple different plans in the back of my head, and then how I see the race go. Okay, I go to plan A, B, or C, or whatever. Snodgrass he's in a position now that he can't just change. He has to just keep doing what he's doing and then hope it works out. And then maybe when we get a caution, okay, now you can kind of change your strategy around. You've seen what guys are doing and whatnot, but right now he has to stick to what he was doing.
That definitely seems to be the right move here, and you got to wonder, Snodgrass, he keeps getting up here, he's in the top 5 again, and he will go another 50 laps, but this time when we see the guys like Luke Turpin stretch that fuel mileage, they're still aggressive, and they're still making up spots both on the track and by their strategy, and that's how that has to work, but Snodgrass has got to start pushing a little bit harder, or this is not going to work at all.
Yeah, Snodgrass's race right now has been going. It's like he's dating a hot girl in high school, and then she dumps you, and then in a couple of weeks she talks to you, builds your hopes back up. You think you're getting back together, and then she dumps you again, and then again. I mean, that's just how it's going. He gets his hopes all built up, and then back to the back again.
Wow, so you heard the stories about me in high school. Thanks, buddy. Luke Turpin, Alex Krapser, and Zach Edwards are the 3 cars on the lead lap right now. As pit stops continue to cycle through, Bronson now in. A lot of the field has completed their next stop. Let's take a look from the telesign blimp. And see if, let's see, no, the top 2 are not coming in. Kendrick Cryer all over Luke Turpin's back bumper. Turpin just moves up the track and lets him go. Great move by Turpin. I was surprised to see Kendrick give his bumper a little tap.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 of the smartest race car drivers in XCAL right now running the top 2. Well, I mean, Zach Edwards too. Can't even count him out. So 3 of the smartest right now running the top 3. Those guys, you're not going to get pressure to them and break them. They have a strategy. They're going to stick to it, and that's just going to be how it is. And it wouldn't surprise me to see them, how this all changes. They'll be right back up on top.
Luke Turpin, as Zach Edwards and Alex Krapser come in, that's going to leave Luke Turpin the last driver on a normal strategy to come to pit road. And that may cycle things back around to Billy Snodgrass, but I have to wonder at this point, is he close enough to reclaim the lead while Luke is on pit road, or is this going to be the moment where it all goes wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what I'm liking, what I see right now is you got Zach Edwards and Alex Krapser. They're both teammates. They pit at the same time. Matt Baer, Luke Turpin, both teammates. 2 different strategies. I'm interested to see those 4 right there. I'd like to see whose strategy wins right now, because I'm liking Turpin's right now.
Speaking of Turpin, he finally gives it up, comes to pit road, and huge shout out to Telesign for coming in on board as our blimp sponsor for the remainder of the season. Go check out Telesign and get all your signage needs. So now is Billy Snodgrass's opportunity to cycle, hopefully for his sake, to cycle back to the lead. He'll still have another 40 laps to go, but he's really going to have to push it. Whereas Noah Carpenter's actually stretching. He last pitted on lap, looks like 179, so he has not been to pit road yet.
Yeah, the best thing for these guys right now, I mean, them fast cars getting stuck behind some of these slower cars, but with a smaller field than usual, it's going to be kind of hard. I mean, we could have had 32 cars. I guess we have 29, so not that much big of a difference, but it's going to be interesting. See these fast guys get stuck behind slow guys.
Turpin, Noah Carpenter, they get together. Who was that in the middle? That was the 27, and holy cow, that was big. Sean Patrick got stuck. Now Sean's really loose out of 1 and 2. He manages to get a hold of it, but man, Turpin and Carpenter, they just sandwiched Sean Patrick, and both of them get impacted by that.
Yeah, this I've been very impressed with seeing how we've been able to stay green here with the cars versus the new tires and old tires, fast cars versus the slow cars. I've been pretty impressed here tonight. Not a lot of dirty racing or anything. I mean, the most action we really had was whenever Bronson didn't like what Chris Johnson did to him, and Bronson is back behind Chris Johnson right now.
That could get a bit dicey here in a minute. Let's keep a close eye. Bronson currently running in 4th. Chris Johnson currently scored in 17th. But remember, Chris is in Austin Edwards' car. Now they're side by side. It looks like Chris is just going to let him go. Now, will there be any payback into 1? No, he's given room. Smart move. Chris could definitely dramatically affect Austin Edwards' championship here if he does anything stupid, so he is playing it safe.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, Jonathan Bronson's non-existent right now, really, for points racing. There's really no reason for that 18 car to do anything to the 67. So, smart move from Chris. Kudos to him, because I believe that the incident where Johnson hit Bronson to get around him, that was short track racing. Yes, it's short track racing with what Bronson did back to him in turn 3, but I think a little unnecessary at that point of the race. But kudos to Chris, playing it smart, just doing his thing.
Well, you did mention earlier, Chris did have that 3-week suspension earlier this season, and he has been a lot more calm and patient, and it seems like he took the lesson there to heart and has done a great job since his return. So hopefully he'll be able to continue moving that way. And early in this season he was battling for wins. I think he might have calmed down a little too much, but he is definitely one to watch next season if he finds the balance.
Yeah, he even said, I remember seeing him say he realized he needs to clean it up after getting that suspension. And I mean, he right hooked me at Lucas Oil for no reason. I remember it irritated the living daylights out of me. But Chris is a nice guy. I mean, off the track, I mean, to talk to and everything. I get along with him great. Sometimes just a little iffy on the racetrack. Noah Carpenter's pitting right now.
And Joe Campbell just now coming off pit road. That Billy Snodgrass has retaken the lead. Matt Barris completed his pit stop and is 5.3 seconds behind, 5 1/4 now, and gaining on Billy Snodgrass. So Billy's got to hope for a miracle in the next 30 laps.
Yeah, I mean, Billy don't have to pit after this pit stop. I think everyone else would have to, but man, I mean, there's gonna be I'm not gonna say there's gonna be a caution, but there has to be a caution here at some point, and that is what's gonna screw Billy now. So if it does stay green, maybe he has a chance. But if we get just a random yellow and he's trapped at even a lap down, even if he gets his lap back, you got to realize that line he's going to be starting him back on, he's practically going to have the leader right up behind him. So
yeah, that will definitely be the case. And don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment. Enjoy the view side by side.
Ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and e-NASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation, follow us on Facebook or visit MoonlightSpeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight, and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
Welcome back, and Billy Snodgrass is no longer the leader. Matt Bear has taken the lead. Jonathan Bronson has moved up into second, and Luke Turpin in third. Billy Snodgrass fades back to fourth, and Alex Crapser in fifth. Zach Edwards, Kendrick Cryer, Stephen Rex, Blake Wynn, and Mason Foster rounding out the top 10. PDJ Zeller up into 11th, Tanner Kalin in 12th, Noah Carpenter in 13th, Greg Holes in 14th, and Ryan Seams currently runs in 15th. I thought Ryan was going to have a top 10 run going here earlier on. He had a great start to this one, but I think pit stops have really bit him here.
Yeah, I mean, the pit stops here, this is where it's, you got your guys that came in with a plan. Like I said, I mean, you're going to see here by the end of the night, the guys that came in with a good plan week in, week out, they know these cars better than anybody. They know how to make the pit stops happen. Whenever I raced XCAL, I never made an actual pit plan. I mean, it was very rare that I ran an actual fuel. I stretched the fuel. I just learned it during the race, and it did not benefit me at all. I mean, it was a big negative on my part. Some of these guys, they know what they're doing.
They definitely do. Ryan holding on to 15th, but Bronson up there, and we were talking about it during the break. Billy Snodgrass is almost going to need a miracle here. Yeah, he'll be able to make that last stop in about 10 laps, but we've seen from lap 200 to 291, he didn't have that 3-lap advantage coming out of the pits, and now everybody, you've got 9 cars back on the lead lap. Bronson, Bear, and Turpin have managed to get by him.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't get a caution here soon, he's stuck on that strategy now. And, I mean, if we get a caution in the last 100 laps, I mean, Billy's kind of screwed over unless we get repeated cautions. Because, like I said earlier, even if he gets his lap back, he's got to start that far back on the tail end. The leader's practically right up on his back end. And he's going to have to hope for another quick caution.
Definitely so. Here's another interesting note. Matt Bear was gaining on Bronson until just a second ago. And I have to wonder, Matt's been a long time without a win in XCAL. He's got that second place spot locked pretty good right now. That final pit stop is going to be a big deciding factor. But if it comes down to the last 5 laps, I'm pretty sure Matt Bear is going to use the bumper on anybody necessary to get that win.
Yeah, I mean, Matt's a Carolina boy. I mean, and to be down here in North Carolina, be racing, I mean, you always want to win in your home state. So, and Matt's never been one to be real patient. So it's all or none, I think, for him.
Yeah, that is definitely the case, and I think as this thing goes on, I think Matt's going to be one to watch towards the end of this one. Luke Turpin just patiently sitting about a second back from him. And, you know, a couple of surprises there, like throughout the field, like Mason Foster's comeback has been extraordinarily impressive. And when you talk about that J&S team, how many cars? Last week they had 6 cars in the top 10. This week they may be able to do it again.
Yeah, J&S team has been a powerhouse all year. Like him or hate him, Joe puts together some really good guys, and from what I've heard, Joe makes his drivers. I mean, he holds their drivers at a higher expectation. He's had some talented drivers that's done some dumb things, and he pulls them. Joe is a clean guy. Like I said, he runs his mouth sometimes. Oh, we got a car back. Is that Chris Johnson?
It is. It does look like it is Chris Johnson. He has had a problem. Let's see what happened. Out of turn 4. Looks like the car might have got a little unsettled. He gets it handed back in, and then down through 1 and 2. Oh, the 27 just completely dumps him.
Yeah, I mean, something must have had to happen there because that's not like showing Patrick to just dump a guy. So I'm sure there was something that happened there. But like back to what I was saying there with Joe. I mean, Joe, he knows where to find the talent. He's put together a very good team, and he makes sure his guys, are pristine. I mean, premier guys for Premier League like XCAL. Oh, is that Joe getting spun going into
That
one?
was Joe and Jim Johnson going at it again. Joe started door banging off of 4, and when he came back across, Jim told him he did not like that very much.
This is where I think we see a caution here soon. Tempers are starting to flare. Laps are winding down. We're in less than 100 laps to go. I mean,
Noah Carpenter. Yeah, speaking of the temper, sorry to interrupt, Noah Carpenter, and it looks like Dwayne Robinson had an issue going into 3. Oh, Dwayne just pushes him off of turn 3. They both recover and get back on the track, but man, Noah Carpenter just got sent. I think you're right, Robert. I think the tempers have just kicked up a notch.
Dwayne just did there, looking at the replay. That's inexcusable. I've raced with Dwayne. Me and him had an incident earlier this season at Phoenix. He just completely dumped me. Just completely inexcusable to do that. But especially with Noah. I don't see Noah ever doing anything malicious to anybody. I've raced with Noah also. Just a little inexcusable to be doing to somebody like that.
Yeah, that was in those 2 incidents back to back. I mean, we've gone through over 75% of this race without a caution, but now we're really starting to see some tempers flare, and guys are just moving other drivers. And obviously, no caution, so no penalties being assessed yet. But I'd imagine there's going to be some protests after tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I know Joe, he'll be busy filing some protests and stuff with guys, and that's just the problem I have with some of this is sometimes there's team orders, and I don't like that where, let's say somebody on Team JNS did someone wrong on Team EHP. They don't go after that guy. They go after that team then. That's not being a man. You are not a man if you just go after the whole team then. You go after the driver that did you wrong, and that's it. Move on. He hits you wrong, you hit him wrong, move on. That's what men do. But when guys that go after the whole team, they sit down to go pee. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what they do. And we got the 51 getting spun.
Oh crap! Chris Johnson had an issue a moment ago in the 18. We'll look at that in the 51. Chris Johnson down into the turn, and it looks like Chris might have gotten a little bit loose off turn 2. And it looks like Chris just slowing down for pit road. Let's see what happened. It looks like Sukup and Friley involved in this. Oh, they were door banging through 3 and 4. The 51, Mason gets the nose in on the 51. I believe Mason is several laps ahead, and the 51 just kind of cuts his run off there.
Yeah, like I said, we're less than 100 laps. I mean, guys are going to start pushing the limits. They want to get ahead. That one spot might be worth something to them. Some guys might still have to pit, getting in a panic. They're letting the pressure get to them now.
And this is when things are about to get a lot more exciting, as we are getting within the window that a lot of these drivers are making final pit stops. We've already seen PDJ Zeller, now Alex Krapser, Sean Andrews, a lot of the JNS guys starting to make their way down pit road. They've had a big advantage on fuel mileage this season, and it looks like they're getting into pit road as quickly as possible here.
And the only guy that I know worth watching that doesn't have to pit that could be a threat for the win is Billy Snodgrass, and he's 4 laps down and 13th right now. So this is where did you do your homework? I mean, is it going to be worth it here?
It's definitely going to be interesting to watch the last part of this race. He might be a genius here, and He's getting in the bumper, Dwayne, and we just saw Dwayne paying somebody back a little bit. Could Dwayne get a little frustrated with Snodgrass here?
Yeah, I mean, not a smart decision on Snodgrass because Dwayne is a ticking time bomb. Me personally, I don't have a whole lot of respect for the guy. I've raced with him. He races a little dirty. You give a guy, come on, listen, you're running what, 24th place right now, 11 laps down.
Oh! Dwayne just turned right into Joe.
Yeah, and this is where we start getting people getting mad.
And Dwayne and Joe into the wall in the front straightaway. No caution yet. Let's take a look at that. What in the world? Well, you were talking about the aggression and the tempers and the not making...
Dwayne spun on the front stretch, it looked like.
Yep, it looks like him and Joe got back to... Joe just turns, and it looked like Joe was actually kind of holding his line.
Yeah, just start. Robinson needs to be... He needs to be set out. Man, I would rather race with 10 Letos than race with Dwayne any day of the week. Inexcusable. Just ridiculous. And it's a bad look for the team that he's on. Because I believe that's part of DBR. And I know DBR, they don't race that way. That's just a solo driver doing stupid things.
Great job by Joe after getting slammed a couple of times to keep the car clean.
John Friley's around on the front stretch.
Well, let's take a look at what the Tri-E Inc. replay here. John Friley, it looks like Dwayne Robinson may have also just had another issue. There you see, Turpin was coming off pit road. Friley was trying to stay down and gets into the 960. And what happened to Dwayne Robinson here? Dwayne right behind the 29. Down into turn 3. Dwayne just turns into Joe Campbell and sends him off into the grass. I'm imagining J&S not happy right now. And Joe, I imagine, is furious.
Yeah, I mean, here's the problem with all that is where I come from. You can go down in the pits and you can punch a guy in the mouth, but here with iRacing, you can't. You can only use your words. And as anyone knows me, knows I'm not the greatest with words. 4-letter ones I'm good with, but
Me both.
that's just ridiculous. I mean, I said, me and Joe, we've had a friendly rivalry. We've gotten into it. I got respect for Joe. If I was Joe, I'd be ticked. But word to the wise, Joe. I wouldn't let it get to you too much. Robinson's probably not going to be racing next week anyway, so no point in worrying about it.
Chris Johnson, looks like him and Steven Rex have had an incident, and we are seeing a lot more incidents here late in the going. There is Chris down on the bottom through 3. Just gets a little bit of a push as he comes off 4. They get together. Both drivers manage to recover and keep going. Great save by both of them. That was just a pure guys racing hard as Turpin comes in for his final stop. Really,
I'm going to hate to leave here soon. It's getting interesting.
It definitely is. I think these guys have had about enough. We've seen pretty much everybody's back. We got one car around. It's Travis Sukup. I think we've seen just about everybody with damage to the rear
Yellow.
bumper.
They've got the yellow.
Holy cow, we got our first yellow of the night. And I can't tell if Joe got into Sukup or not on that one. Let's take a blimp shot of this replay.
This is 2 laps down on that strategy. Crap. We got a couple cars on the lead lap here.
Yeah, it looks like Sukup just slowed through 1 and 2. Joe had nowhere to go. He had a car to the outside, and our first caution of the night. Wow.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's no retaliation to what Robinson was doing, because I think the 51's also a DBR car. I'm hoping Joe just didn't get mad and, say screw Team DBR, because I know both of those teams, and there's respectable guys on both teams. Like I said, I think Dwayne Robinson, he's doing whatever he's doing solo because he's been in other cars and he's driven like a dumbass there too. I don't think there's any team orders on hurting anyone's race. So hopefully that's not what that's about.
I'd have to agree with you on the team orders thing. I think if there was, we'd have seen that pop up a lot sooner. I am seeing a few drivers go to pit road. Nobody on the lead lap is hitting pit road, and it looks like, you're not going to believe this, the 3 cars that look like they're going to get waved around on this one, Billy Snodgrass, Noah Carpenter, and Blake Wynn.
Yep, I mean, that's what Snodgrass needs to do this. I mean, this is what he kind of needs. I mean, he was 2 laps down. He's going to get another lap back, so that's going to put him on the lead lap. But the only problem is, oh, and I see Joe Campbell was disqualified.
Looking back to see if there was another incident with Joe, I'm a bit surprised if...
I think he's going to get the blame for hitting the 51 from behind. Because he already started with a strike. I don't think it was anything like you're driving dirty or anything.
Yeah. I honestly am surprised that he got it before Dwayne, but what do I know?
Me and you both. Keep a cool head about you, Joe. We want to see you race next week.
Yeah, definitely want to see Joe race next week. So I'm hoping he can keep it calm, and hopefully Gerald and the team can keep him a little bit cooled off here, and we see him next week. I'd love to see him bookend this season with wins on both ends, especially some of the adversity he's had personally and the JNS team has had throughout this year. It'd be great to see him pull that off.
So remember, I think he missed USA earlier in the season. He won that race. He was getting a little hot, and then he got sick. I don't know if he got COVID or what, but he got sick. He had to miss USA, and that's not like Joe to miss a race. I mean, Joe's a racer, and then he has this, and he's battling with some stuff, and hope everything's all good though with him. And like I said, I like Joe. I mean, I like having a rivalry with Joe. Hope to see him race next week, so don't let that all get to you.
Looks like it's going to be Crapser and Bronson up front with Matt Bear and Zach Edwards in second, Billy Snodgrass, Noah Carpenter at third, Kendrick Cryer and Luke Turpin on the fourth row, and then Blake Wynn and Steven Rex. Looks like we'll have a total of 8 cars on the lead lap, and would you look at this? Billy Snodgrass currently scored in 5th.
Hell yeah to him. I mean, I don't know if he can make it. I think he can make it. I don't know how well his tires are. I don't think he pit during that last round.
No, his last stop was lap 299, so he's good on fuel. Tires are going to be a whole nother story.
Yeah, I mean, we get a bunch of cautions here, though. I mean, it could work out for him. I mean, he could maybe get a chance to come down and get tires, but it's how close he can get to that pace car, because you obviously don't want to pit when you're on the lead lap and you have a bunch of cars between you and the pace car. You're going to go lap down, because that's a long trip down pit road. You got to go way on down past turn 3, come back around, and pit. By the time you get to your pit, you're going to be a lap down.
And looks like the lights are out on the pace car, and the 27 of Sean Patrick scored in 19th is right behind the pace car, whereas Alex Crapser with the lead is about, it looks like 10 cars back on the restart. This is going to get interesting. As they start to fire, green flag is back in the air. This is going to be an interesting one. Sean Patrick has a lot of, whoa! Who is that? That is Dwayne Robinson that through turn 2. I don't know that he lifted.
I just seen a huge cluster on that restart. Cars going inside, outside. There's going to be some penalties for lane changes here, I believe. I mean, that was a bit of a cluster. I think guys were lost. Guys weren't paying attention. I mean, I'm a little confused here by things.
It does get scoring and everything gets a little weird on these. Luke Turpin actually on the tail end of the lead lap in 8th place, but he has Crapser right behind him. He is going to have to fight really hard here with just over 50 to go.
Yeah, I mean, and with those two guys, though, I mean, you know dang well they're going to drive each other with respect. They're not going to blow through each other. Craft Crew's going to, treat Turpin with respect. Turpin's going to do the same. Turpin's obviously going to drive with aggressive, but, I mean, I don't see anything bad coming out of this. I see Dwayne doing something stupid and maybe bring out another caution.
That is definitely a big possibility here. Dwayne all over the back end of the 48 of Kendrick Cryer. Kendrick's got to be careful. Oh, Kendrick's loose. Kendrick got into the 20, and Dwayne just slammed him. Dwayne may be done. He just went nose first into the wall. Let's look at Sean Patrick and Kendrick Cryer on the Tri-E Inc. replay. Watch the 27 goes off into the turn. And Kendrick starts turning down a little early and just snaps loose. Gets into the 27, but it looked to me like Dwayne just was aiming for them and ended up bouncing off, not doing any significant damage, but ended up sending himself into the outside wall. And he toes to pit road. His night may be done.
Man, it's great for the rest of the field unless someone needs a caution. Because, I mean, like I said, I don't care. I mean, that guy's just a pure idiot. Pure moron driving the way he has, and to come into the smallest track, quarter-mile track, smallest track we have on the schedule, and just to drive like a plain asshole like that, it's just completely ridiculous.
It is, and we've definitely seen over the last 100 laps, he is getting a little bit crazy out there. We're going to take our last commercial break. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll take you to the end, and I'm sure that end's going to be wild. Welcome back. 38 laps to go from the Legends Oval, and it's about to get a bit wild out here.
Yeah, we've been seeing tempers flare here. Guys are getting their last shots in when it counts. Trying to get a spot, trying to take a spot away from a guy, and best part is we end it here next week, except we go at the bigger circle.
Definitely do. Chris Johnson had an incident a moment ago. Chris has really had a rough night, but you got to give it to him. He has kept that car from having any penalties going into the final race of the season. And it looks like he just gets a love tap from behind and goes around. Manages to get that car turned back around the right way.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of him for not retaliating back to Bronson. I hope I didn't speak too soon. Just do your thing, ride around, don't cost that 18 a spot for next week's race, because A, you could take him out of clinching that points championship, and B, you could take him away from racing next week and breaking that record.
Yeah, and if he pulls that off, it would be 2 seasons in a row that Austin Edwards has set a record. And man, what dominance Austin has had since joining XCAL.
Yeah, I like seeing these younger guys come into racing and have like a more like an old school respectful attitude. Austin's another one of them. You swear he's older than what he is. He just carries himself very well. Well deserved. I like Austin. Got a lot of respect for him. He's one that's going to bring benefits to racing later on.
Definitely so. Bronson has the lead right now, 1.5 seconds over Alex Crapser, Matt Bear in third, Zach Edwards in fourth, and Noah Carpenter up to fifth. Billy Snodgrass holding on to sixth. We didn't think this was going to pan out this well, but it might still. I mean, even if he just hangs on to the lead lap, he's still going to finish in eighth. So having a great night. Flying Ryan is starting to make up some spots again. He's back up into 14th and gaining on Greg Holes in 13th again.
Snodgrass is probably going to go a lap down here. He's got Turpin right behind him, and then right behind Turpin is Bronson. And Turpin's not going to wait real long to get around him. And I think Turpin, he got new tires where Snodgrass don't. So if we get another caution, man, it's going to be something to watch.
It is definitely going to get interesting. Noah Carpenter has had an incident. He's gone off track a couple of times in a row. Let's see if it was anything. Looks like he just gets into 3 a little too deep, then gets on the brakes too hard. And look at him and Matt Bear are having some problems. And Matt Bear turned him. Holy cow.
Tempers are going to fly tonight.
Well, Matt Bear was one we said, watch out, his temper could flare tonight. He's currently running in fourth. He's got to be careful that it doesn't look intentional, or he's going to end up getting a black flag.
Yeah, I mean, this is heating up here where Bronson's leading. He's trying to trap Turpin a lap down. Turpin's trying to get around Snodgrass. He's finally going to get to the inside of Snodgrass. Snodgrass was hugging that line. He wasn't coming off a 4 quite high. He's going to go a lap down now.
Yeah, it's great Snodgrass not fighting the leader too hard on that one. But now that's going to put him in a position. He's going to be a few minutes. Almost get him and Crapser bang doors there coming out of turn 4. He's got to get slid down behind Cryer quickly.
He's in a rough position. You don't want to be too aggressive and piss off, the lead lap cars, but you got to do what's best for you too. It's a hard situation to be in. I can't blame him too much. I mean, it's going to kind of shoot him in the foot though, because if we do get another caution, he gets a wave around, he's just going to be starting to tail into the lead line or the lead pack on all that old tires, and he's going to go a lap down again.
That is definitely the case. 22 laps to go, and I think we're looking at, we may see this go green to the end. If we go one caution for tonight, that would just be an impressive feat in itself, especially at this track.
Yeah, I'm going to try to stick around. I have to pop out early here, but I'm going to try to stick around here for the finish with that many laps left, because this is going to get interesting.
Blake Wynn has just had an incident. Going to the replay here. And Blake was right on Ryan. Seems, oh, Blake and Ryan get together out of turn 2. They begin door banging. Ryan was definitely not happy with Blake. Sent Blake around. Blake recovers. Ryan takes off.
Hate to see that. I mean, Blake did drive aggressively off of 2. He gave him a harder door bang than what he should have. Hate to see what Ryan did there, though, because like I said, you got to make this stuff look not on purpose. It would have been a little smarter to let Blake around and dump him there. You just can't right hook a guy because it's going to get you in trouble. You got to dump him. You can't right hook him.
Well, he definitely did that, but he still holds on to 14th place. And, yeah, just getting word, Gerald Poole is taking names for the JNS team right now. I imagine that list is going to be extraordinarily long after tonight. I imagine there's more than a few names on that list that are going to be protested. And I imagine that's not the only team taking names here.
The interesting part about all this is we've gone to how many short tracks here just recently in a row. Now we're going to go to a plate race, whereas anyone's race, this is a race where you have to run smooths at Charlotte, the big track. You don't want big wrecks because one slip up can cost many people behind that the race. So you're going to piss off people for weeks in a row.
Oh! Jose
18
Godino,
car.
caution is out. Chris Johnson, John Friley involved, and it looks like Chris and Jose were going at it. Here's the fight from the beginning. Out of turn 3, right in front of Matt Baer. Jose tries to get to the inside. He gets Chris completely sideways through 1 and 2, and as soon as Jose comes back across and just turns Chris completely around, Godino goes off into the grass, and there is that late race caution. Wow.
Things are going to get interesting here. I mean, but like I was just saying though, it's a smart and it's a fun schedule here. Aaron puts all these guys on small tracks, and they get smaller and smaller and smaller at the end of the season. Now we go to a quarter-mile track. Let's piss everybody off, and then let's throw them out on a plate race for the last race of the season. Now your patience are going to be tested here because you don't pay a guy back next week. Because if you do, you could cost your whole team points, I mean anything, just by making one slip up. You don't dump people at a plate track. So this is where you're supposed to do it, but here we're making all kinds of new rivalries and guys doing things. I mean, looks like Blake and Kendrick's going to get muted from LPD along with Alex Crapser.
It'd be interesting to know. We've only had a couple of races where all of Whale PD got muted. It'd be interesting to know how many at the end of tonight it's going to be, because I am sure it's pretty close to all of them.
I think we got like 4 or 5 from what I'm paying attention to here. I mean, and the only reason why is because we haven't had a lot of cautions.
Watching, it looks like Sean Andrews Sean Andrews is starting to blink a bit. That could be a big problem here late in the race for him, as he's running currently in 12th.
Yeah, I hate to see that. It might just be because they're under caution, they're all bunched up. It might get worked out. I'd hate to see it. I'd like to see Sean, finish out even 12th place. Strong night for Sean. He's had a rough season this year. Would like to see him do well.
Looks like we're going to restart with 9 cars on the lead lap. Looks like Kendrick Cryer, Billy Snodgrass, and Blake Wynn. And you got, Billy Snodgrass, we did not think this was going to pay off at all. And yet here he is. He's looking at a top 10 finish.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to him. To be honest with you, this saves him to finish in a top 10, because I honestly don't know if he would have finished in a top 10 with the way things were going. So good job by him. Another young kid with a lot of respect out on the racetrack. He knows his driver etiquette.
Jonathan Bronson up 21 spots, has the lead. Noah Carpenter up 24 spots into 5th. Kendrick Cryer up 21 spots into 7th. Right now, it's looking like Noah Carpenter will get bonus points for the biggest mover of the race. I couldn't even tell you who's led the most laps. I believe it's going to be Bronson when this thing is all said and done. But, man, there's been quite a few drivers take the lead tonight.
Yeah, my thing is here, I'm sitting here thinking, when's Bronson going to screw up? I mean, last time he was leading at Irwindale Winter, and he screwed the start.
Yep, they didn't do it that time. They fire off into one. And once they come back around, there will be no more cautions. And then we could...
Yeah, well, we got one.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, and who's that spinning?
Looks like a lot of guys involved in this, including Petey. Let's see, on the restart, we had a car blinking back behind. They shoot off into turn 1. Petey to the inside. Oh, there's a big checkup on the inside line. Gaudino goes around. Derek Colson is around.
This is what I mean. I mean, the restarts here, it was going to cause a big kerfuffle. I mean, they were going to be getting into each other, spinning each other, people checking up. All it takes is one car to check up. That's it.
Greg Holes made a power move right past the start-finish line down in the middle and got stuck in that. A lot of cars managed to keep it straight, but you know what this means? It just realized this will be the second green-white checkered of the season, and I think the second one ever.
Yeah, I mean, this is where Bronson's going to win the race or lose the race very easily. All Bronson has to do is get a half-decent restart. He's going to be on the inside. Crapster is a very good but very respectful driver. You know Crapster is not going to turn you. He's not going to race you dirty. All that Bronson has to do is just restart the race here. But Bronson in the past has been known to let pressure get to him and just screw himself over. So we're about to see Bronson's going to be the reason why he either wins or loses this race. It's all on him.
They're going to come around and get 2 to go. We might see a single lap, or could this race end under caution?
Has a race ever ended under caution in XCAL? Yeah,
no,
I can't see it ever doing it.
Yeah, the last time this ever happened, and it does look like Aaron does have green-white checkers set up, so we will get a green-white checkered out of this, and that's going to be even more crazy.
Yeah, I want to do one thing here, too, with Aaron. He runs this race control solo, okay? So you have to give props to him. I mean, to watch all these guys, and some of these guys are just plain idiots, and to take care and just organize all this all together and run this all on his own. I mean, you got to give him credit. Whether you like him or hate him, he does a hell of a job.
And he runs the business side. He runs all of it. Almost single-handedly. Gets some help from Petey. As the pace car goes in, we're about to get our second green-white checkered ever. And this will be the finish of the race, one way or another. Bronson fires, and he gets the good restart.
Coming out of this corner is where it's going to tell what's going to happen here. Crapster could give him a little bump going into 3 here.
Turpin may be in trouble with Matt. Oh, Matt Bear's in trouble. Blake Wynn. Holy cow, Blake Wynn went to the grass.
I think he just cut the track. And Bear's going to do the same thing to him.
Holy cow.
I think Bronson's going to drive away with the win here.
Bronson's about to pull off the win as these
Blake
guys...
Wynn, he got turned into Matt Bear going into 3.
Holy crap, and Bronson pulls the win. Crapser comes home second, Zach Edwards third, and there's some chaos at the end here. Let's see what happened with Noah Carpenter, Blake Wynn, and Matt Bear as they go up. Wynn just got put to the wall. Oh, Wynn just drove into Bear and took out Carpenter in the process.
Bear's pissed at Blake. I can see Bear is pissed at Blake.
Oh, yeah. There was some payback after the race, too.
And you know what? In that whole thing with everybody being stupid, look who finishes 6th.
Billy Snodgrass pulls off 6th, looking to see Ryan Seams picks up a couple spots, finishes 13th. Sean Andrews, Noah Carpenter still managed to pull off a 9th place finish. And it's 2 of the top 3 are JNS cars of Alex Krapser and Zach Edwards. What a wild, wild finish.
That was a little interesting there.
That was a lot interesting. That last lap, let's take one more look at it with Matt Bear, Blake Wynn. Out of turn 2, Matt just puts Blake in there. Blake just sends it into Bear. Bear clips Carpenter. How Carpenter managed to come back, I have no earthly idea.
I'm looking at incident points here too, and we still ain't come close to Tanner's record there at Texas Road, but Sean Andrews had 85. I mean, we had next week's payout's going to be pretty good. I mean, I'm looking at incident points, and some guys' pockets are going to be running a little deep.
I have to ask, who had the most incident points tonight?
That was Sean Andrews with 85, I believe.
Not who I was expecting to hear.
No, but hey, you know what? He come home 12th. He brought home some money. He got some points. He did a hell of a job. It's worth it.
All right, looks like our drivers are lined up and ready. Let's see if we can get a hold of Zach Edwards, who finished 3rd. Hey, Zach, it's Doug and Robert in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Man, what a finish and a great job coming home 3rd tonight.
Yeah, we'll take it. You know, anytime you come out of here with a podium, it's always good. Hey, I got into Matt Bear there. I mean, I just got in a little hot and moved him up. I owed him one anyways from last time we were here, but I guess he forgot about that. Then he just wants to clean my teammate out. Not really sure what's up there, but anyways, we had a good run.
Man, the JNS cars really came to play tonight. You guys all did an amazing job and come back with that 3rd place finish despite some of the chaos. I do have to ask, at one point it looked like when Joe was in front of you a couple laps down, but right in front of you on track, it looked like you were kind of acting as a shield for him for a little bit.
Yeah, there are no shields here. Nah, we were just riding there, saving fuel and tires, and saving our stuff for the end.
Well, man, it definitely worked. You get another podium finish here tonight. Congratulations. Any team or sponsors you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank everybody at JNS, Joe and Danny for putting me in this car. Alloy Wheel Repair of the Upstate, you know, they've been on board for quite a while this season. I got to thank them. Flaming Karma Paint Shop, and you guys for broadcasting this.
All right, our pleasure, man. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Man, it looks like everybody wants to talk to us tonight. Let's see if we can get 2nd place Alex Krapser. Alex is Doug and Robert. You got us?
Yeah, how's it going?
Good, man. Robert, you want to take this one?
I mean, sure. I mean, Alex, I know you're clean. I know you ain't going to do no one dirty. You really didn't have a chance sitting up there on the top side, did you?
No, there was really not a chance on the top side. Just trying to get the run a little bit off of 2 so I could clear Zach going into the next corner. Yeah, I think at the end Bronson, he was the fastest car anyway, but he had, I don't know, 15 lap fresher tires than me probably. So I was just kind of hanging on at the end, kind of didn't need the caution that brought everyone closer, but then was kind of hoping for chaos after that, and ended up with chaos, I guess. The green room is on fire right now, so ended up 2nd. It's a good run for it.
Yeah, I seen him coming off a 2 there when he cleared you. I thought maybe you might be setting up. Were you planning on maybe trying to give him a little bump and run there, going into 3?
Not really. I don't think I could have gotten close enough to make it not look egregious. So, whenever he got by me, I mean, he just kind of drove through me, but because he was so much faster than me, then I kind of just gave him a shot, and there was really nothing I could do.
Well, I mean, congrats on the 2nd place finish. I mean, like I said earlier, you're one of the smarter guys out there, respectful guys out there. Do you have anyone you want to shout out, sponsors, friends, anything?
Yeah, just got to shout out the whole team, JNS Racing, Flaming Karma Paint Shop, and How to Suck at iRacing. Robert, it's awesome to have you in the booth. Wish you're still on the track, but you're pretty good in the booth too. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
Whoop. And now to enter victory lane. Brought to you by Fuel Factor X. Jonathan Bronson comes in with, wow, the green room is really on fire. Jonathan Bronson gets his second win of the season, and that was definitely a wild, wild night.
I was honestly a lot cleaner, well, for me, than I thought it would be, and I'm surprised it went caution-free for most of it. That was kind of the surprising part, but hey, it worked out on my end.
Yeah, that was definitely a really, really awesome run tonight. You kept that car out front most of the night, and man, it almost at points looked like you were untouchable. A couple of times you got some really big leads out there.
I was honestly just going as fast as I could, because this is one of those tracks where I honestly don't know how to save fuel, so I was just going as fast as I could and hoping for a caution at the end, which is what I got, so it worked out for me.
Man, it worked out perfectly. You get your second win of the season, and man, there was a lot of craziness behind you. Coming to the checkered on that green-white checkered restart, were you worried at all about Crapser behind you?
A little bit in the back of my head somewhere, and I thought he's gonna drive in there and hit me, because that's what I did to get around him. A very stern bum, but he didn't, and it surprised me, but it didn't, knowing him, because he's probably, well, the cleanest driver on the racetrack. So definitely was, I don't know.
Well, man, it was a great win, a great finish, and man, going into next week, you're definitely got the momentum on your side. Any team or sponsors you'd like to thank?
PD and Moonlight Speed Concepts and a white Steve Urkel. That's just about it.
I have to ask, who is that?
You know, there's this person who named a white kid Kendrick, and I believe it's their son. I'm not sure.
Is he friends with Derek Krause?
I believe he's more than friends.
Congrats on the win, Bronson. Happy to see you win.
Thank you, Robert.
Good job.
I tried my best just for you.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I almost thought about putting money on you.
You're funny.
Yeah, I try to be.
Well, congratulations, Bronson. Go celebrate with your team, buddy.
I will. I definitely will.
All right, you know, that green room's on fire. I think I'm going to have to pull PD in here just to see what's up.
We got time for one more interview, and then I got to skip out.
All right, well, we got PD. Robert, go.
Hey, PD, what you got for us?
About what?
We see you in the green room. What you got to say? Anyone you want to call out? Anything?
No, I was just enjoying that we got a fight in the pits right now. Matt Bear isn't too happy right now with Kendrick after that finish. But just, that was a classic Charlotte Legends Oval race. That caution really messed me up. I think I might have got a top 10 tonight, but got a little screwed up there. But overall, only 3 cautions at the Legends Oval. I'm not going to complain about that.
Yeah, we were watching. You were running pretty good. I mean, just had a top 10, top 15 car, running pretty good. Is there any, since you were in the race and you probably heard well PD or anything, is there anything that we need to watch for next week?
I mean, as always, I'm not going to come out here and tell you guys exactly who you got to watch for, but I'd keep an eye. It's the end of the season. A lot of teams are really not too happy with each other at this point. And, at the end of the season, things tend to boil over. There's 29 races of bad feelings between teams right now. I mean, we're all going out there and competing at the highest level we can, just giving it our all out there. And a lot of shit happens when you're on the racetrack, and after 29 races, tensions are high, and I mean, this is when you're getting yours back at this time of the year.
PD,
That's about what I said. Hey, I just wanted to ask real quick before I have to leave. Is anyone mad at Dwayne Robinson?
Me. If I was going to call one person right now, it'd be Dwayne Robinson. I don't know what he was doing, man. He would just drive it in so deep and run you over, and he had me frustrated, man. Dwayne Robinson, I don't know what his deal was there, but he only shows up like twice a season anyway, so I'll try to forget about it. But he had the least common sense out of any car in the field tonight.
I was like, we both agree.
Yes, we did. That was the exact question I was going to ask. So, one more question here, Petey. Protests are coming later tonight. I know Aaron does 90% of that, but are you guys going to be a bit busy for the next few days?
Oh yeah, man. I know there's a whole plate of protests coming, and luckily I'm a driver this year, so I can't be part of the protest because that would be biased, and we don't do things that way over here. So fortunately, that's going to be an Aaron headache more than me. But I'm sure when we meet next time, he'll have a lot of complaining to do.
The drivers' meeting next week might be the first one this season I attend. Great job tonight, Petey. Great race, and you've had an awesome season. We've talked about it a lot. Keep it up, and hopefully you get one of those JNS cars into victory lane again next week.
Yeah. Thank you guys for your time. Hopefully I can end the season stronger than we've been going. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Robert, any final thoughts on this one?
I mean, it's going to be interesting because, like I say, I hate to see retaliation at a big track, especially a plate track. Luckily with iRacing, no one can get hurt other than their feelings. It's going to be interesting. I think we wait a couple of days, let some people calm their feelings down, maybe talk some stuff out. But like with PD there, with what someone like Dwayne Robinson did, inexcusable. Shouldn't be happening, especially this late in the season with points coming down to a wire, and you got a guy that we don't see. I mean, the last time I seen him was somewhere around Phoenix, and that was early in the year. Putting him in a car, knowing that he's a hothead and he's just going to wreck into people whenever he doesn't like what's going on. I mean, it's not real smart. I don't feel, if it counts for anything, I don't feel that was a DVR thing where we've heard all year where teams are going after other drivers. I know he was going after mostly JNS drivers, but I don't think that was a DBR thing where they're going after JNS. I think that was just Dwayne being stupid and being Dwayne. It's going to be very interesting to see. I don't think we're going to see Dwayne back in a car next week. I don't know. I might get bored and see if I can get in a car. I don't know. I mean, I like racing these plate races. They're very fun with XCAL. It'll just be interesting to see what happens this week through the Discord and XCAL.
It definitely will, man. Thank you for joining me tonight. This was a lot of fun and an awesome race, and thank you guys all so much for tuning in. I think we both need a break now. Hope everybody had as much fun as we did tonight. Y'all have a great night.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.